Hey, welcome back to the show, and many thanks for staying. Now, 21st of March is a day set aside by the UN for the world to focus on forests. So what is the state of Ghana's forest? They are under threat. We know we throw the spotlight on the Atiwa forest today, which is a national reserve in critical danger. It supplies water to 5 million Ghanaians, especially for those of us here in Accra. And it is home to various species of animals, plants and trees. Now, this is valued at about $100 million a year. But the threat posed to this natural resource from illegal logging, farming and illegal mining activities is enormous. Here is a piece put together by a freelance journalist, Adam Shem.
Somewhere in the eastern region of Ghana, in a town called Chibi, lies a forest that is a constant embrace with the clouds. A process that leads to the provision of water for over 5 million Ghanaians directly. This forest is called the Atiwa Range Forest Reserve. The Atiwa Range Forest Reserve covers a total land area of 263 kilometers square and represents about 33.5% of the remaining closed forest in Ghana's eastern region. The forest is found in 5 local government administrative districts, with a large part of it located in the East Achim Municipal and Atiwa district, all in the eastern region of Ghana, and under the authority of the Achim Ebuakwa traditional area, with Chebi as its capital. The forest has many communities on its fringes that benefit from its vast resources. According to the 2016 Atiwa Economics of Ecosystem and Biodiversity Report, the estimated economic value of Atiwa includes animal and plant species, $12.4 million per year, land for cocoa production, $9.3 million per year, water for consumption, $25 million per year, water for agriculture, $3.1 million per year. In the reserve, the following exist: 323 tree species, 83 shrub species, 155 lianes and climber species, 68 herbaceous species, 22 epiphytes and 5 grass species. This is according to the TEEB report 2016 by Arusha, Ghana and the Forestry Commission. The forest has a unique representation of various animals, including insects and different types of snakes. This gives the forest a unique ecosystem that sustains human life. The forest has close to 40 communities. Among them are the following major communities: Potrasi Oboase, Sejimase, Kibi Apapam, Apramine, Kobriso, Techiman, Medjinase. Dumping. Labicrum. And Bipwase. Asiakwa. And Kibi Township itself. These communities benefit from the huge resources the forest provides, such as water services, climate regulation, microclimate conditions for major agro-commodities like cocoa and oil palm, and several other food crops. Ecologically, it is home to a variety of wild animals and plants, some of them only found in Ghana, and providing food sources such as bushmeat, medicinal plants, and other NTPFs, harvested for many domestic and industrial purposes. Notwithstanding these priceless services it provides to communities and the people in Ghana as a whole, the Atiwa forest is under a serious threat from gold and bauxite mining. Gold mining is estimated at an average net revenue before taxes of $2.2 million per year. This is far lower than the value of any of the goods and services delivered by Atiwa. Also, according to the 2016 Atiwa Economics of Ecosystem and Biodiversity Report, illegal mining on the fringes of the Atiwa forest, especially in the buffer, covers 5,365.71 hectares. Proposed licensed and illegal mining sites within 15 kilometers radius of the buffer cover an estimated area of 10,338.52 hectares. This indicates that the scale of illegal mining is higher than legal mining activities. The low capital intensity of small-scale illegal mining makes the operation attractive to the rural poor who.
Well, that is a documentary put together by freelance journalist Edem. Shrem Edem joins me in the studio since the world is celebrating International Day of Forest. Edem, you're welcome.
Thank you.
And a good job done there, by the way. Well, I know that this is not the only work that you have done. I mean, aside Atiwa Forest, you went into the Atiwa Forest and, captured all of those drone visuals, etc. And, I mean, the story makes it clear how much of an importance that this forest reserve has for us as a country. But apart from Atiwa, which other areas or which other forests in the country are under threat, would you say?
Okay, thank you for the question. In Ghana, we have about 81,000 square kilometers of forest, which includes the reserve. The reserves are made up of 17,000 square kilometers. And it is this 17,000 square kilometers that are heavily under threat because of human activities such as mining, illegal logging, and then poaching or hunting. So,
and farming as well.
And farming, yes. Yeah. So most of these forests, even those that are not reserves but are forest covers, are all under threat because of illegal mining. And so when you travel across the country from the south to the northern parts, even including the two upper regions, you realize that a lot of forest cover is being destroyed because people are in search of mineral resources.
And these are places that you have gone there to do stories from?
Yes.
Okay. What does Ghana stand to risk? Because along the line of doing the story, you've been engaging a lot of experts as well who are giving you expert views. What does the country stand to, what's the risk to the country looking at what's happening in Atiwa Forest, for instance?
Okay, when you take the Atiwa Forest, it's actually about 263 square kilometers, and it's a hub for 3 major river systems, which is the Densu, Ayensu, and the Brim. And the Brim, for instance, provides water for the people of Kibi and its environs. Then the Densu provides water for people of Nsawam, and then people of some parts of Accra. That is the Densu flows into the Weja Lake, and the Weja Lake provides water for a great number of people in Accra. So it means that if these forests are not protected, or if, for instance, it's not made as a national park where we have strict protection for it, then it means that in some few years to come, then the water source will be depleted. And once the water source is depleted, it means that we cannot get water in Accra. So that is the danger. And the other aspects are that hunting is going on in there. It means that some of the nice, beautiful plants and animals that we have inside the forest will all be lost. Because as it stands now, there are even some species in that forest that it is only in Ghana that we can find them, nowhere else. And it's also a place that you can find a lot of butterflies, different types, different colors, and all that. So if all these things, if the forest is not protected, it means that we are going to lose so much from this forest. And the mining, I understand people are proposing that we should do mining of bauxite inside the forest. And that the bauxite plus the gold is not even up to $3 million a year. So if we embark on such a venture, it means we are at a loss.
I see. Well, you've been doing, I mean, myself and you have done work on Galamsey activities, and these are different visuals. These are new visuals of Galamsey activities that are ongoing. Are you aware of any engagements, you know, by the ministry? Of course, there's a new ministry. Is the ministry engaging you in any way, you know, about these visuals that you put out there over the time?
Well, I think once in a while the ministry calls me to share some of the videos I have with them.
And what do they do with it?
Well, they only play our stakeholder meetings, and yeah, that's the end. But, well, I understand the ministry says they are going to use drones to combat illegal mining. But for me, it's a nice, good initiative, but the point is that they shouldn't have been announced, because then now people, the Galamseyers are very well armed against the drones, because they know that the minister will shoot it down. So it means that, well, fine, maybe we might have to relax for some time and then we strike.
I see. Well, we'll say very big thanks to you. That is actually a short version of the full documentary. He's a filmmaker. That's a short documentary, a short version of the full documentary. But we'll be playing that here on JoyNews along the line. Adam, thank you very much for passing through. You. Well, Adam Shrem there with that documentary on Atiwa Forest. As I said, the world is celebrating forest, or this is a day set aside for as International Forest Day. As I said earlier on, the ministry, there is an inauguration. There has been a ministerial inauguration. At the inauguration, I beg your pardon, inauguration of a ministerial advisory committee that is supposed to support the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources in his work. We'll I've got a PRO for the ministry on the line. Victoria, hello, ma'am. Thank you very much for your time. You're on the pulse.
Ready.
Hello. Hello. Can you hear me? Thank you very much for your time here on the pulse.
Thank you, madam.
Okay, so this morning the ministry inaugurated a ministerial advisory committee. Who are they and what exactly will they be doing?
They are 8-member board consisting of the Honorable Minister, Honorable John Peter Amewu, that's the sector minister. The deputy ministers, Honorable, they are now nominated. So when they, yes. And we have the chief director of the ministry, Professor Bruce Banoy Yakubu, the chief director of the ministry, and Professor Patrick Bensia, Dean of Development Studies, University of Cape Coast.
Okay, Professor, what again, please? That second name again.
Patrick Abensia.
Okay.
Dean, Institute of Development Studies of University of Cape Coast. He's a member. Then Victoria Bright, legal practitioner of International Legal Constituency Services.
Okay.
And we have this Chief Ahunabo Brimpra Ajinasiem the Fifth. He is the chairman and managing director of Industrial and Engineering Services Limited. And Mr. Daniel Mankoli, managing director of Magdan Group. Yeah, and their main duties will be to advise the sector minister on policy issues, policy direction and planning, and operational strategies. They also promote constant interaction between the ministry and its users. So these are their main duties as board members.
Okay. What's the special policy direction they're looking at when it comes to protecting our forest reserves? Is there anything like that on their papers?
No, not. You know, there are policies within the ministry. We have the FIP, we have policy on plantation. So there are some existing policies, and they will come and advise on it, whether they need to make other policies direct in other ways to address the deforestation problem the country is facing. So
this is a 5-member, it's a 6-member committee because I've got 5 names.
8-member.
Okay.
8-member ministry.
I only got 5 names from you. Please.
Yeah, the others are the deputy ministers that have been nominated. Honorable Benito Usubio, yet to be vetted. They are yet to be vetted. Honorable Barbara Otinjesi. Okay. So that will make it 8. And one more, because that makes it, 5, 6, 7. Honorable John Peter Amewu.
Okay.
The sector minister.
Okay. Well, we'll say very big thanks to you, Victoria Sapong. Victoria Sapong is PRO for the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources there, telling us about the inauguration of that 8-member Ministerial Advisory Committee. I didn't quite get the names, but I can go through what I've got here. Professor Banoy Yakubu, Professor Patrick Abensiyigla, I'm not very sure about that, I beg your pardon, Victoria Bright, Vicky Bright, Ehunabo Brimpra, Nana Ehunabo Brimpra the 5th, Dan Macaulay of Magdan Shipping as well. They are going to be providing or supporting the ministry with policy directions. We'll get to them and get you more on that in a subsequent bulletin. Well, there are some members of this particular group who are still nominees, deputy ministerial nominees. She mentions Barbara Otinjesi, Owusu-Bio as well, but they are yet to be confirmed in Parliament. Well, on the back of that, we do know that Parliament will not be able to approve all the deputy ministers before the House rises. They will only be able to vet 4 ministers and 15 deputies, and the rest will have to wait until the end of May. Haruna Idrisu, minority leader in Parliament, has also announced that they will be going to court to challenge government allocation to direct Assembly Common Funds. These are some of the things happening in Parliament today, and Joseph Opoku Gakpo joins me on the line with some more. Hello, Gakpo, can you hear me?
Good afternoon.
Yes, Gakpo. Well, we've just heard about some some 2 deputy ministers who have been appointed on the committee, on the Ministerial Advisory Committee. But we know from Parliament today that not all of them are going to go through the vetting process.
Exactly the case. From the indication that we've gotten, the appointment committee met and have taken a decision that when it comes to the latest list of 54 ministers and deputy ministers that have been brought to Parliament for vetting and approval, they'll begin the vetting process itself next week, Monday. And we know that the House will be going on recess for a period of 1.5 months, that's 6 weeks, and that recess will begin next week, Friday. So the appointment committee has decided that when they begin the session next week, Monday, they will vet the 4 ministers of state who've been appointed, and then between Tuesday and Thursday, each day they will be vetting 5 of the deputy ministers who have been appointed. And so, out of the 54, they will be able to vet only 19 of them. And for the rest, they would have to wait until sometime in the middle of May for them to do the vetting. So from what we've gathered, the vetting will, in terms of the 19 who will be vetted next week, they are still waiting for the timetable. But we know that the focus will be on members of the appointment committee who've been appointed ministers. They will be vetted, and also people who would be going to critical ministries like the Ministry of Finance. That's the 3 deputy ministers of finance. They are the people who will be among the 19 who will be vetted before the House goes on recess.
So it's not possible that these 2, the 2 deputies who have been appointed, for instance, on the Ministerial Advisory Committee for the Lands and Natural Resources would have been vetted at the time.
That's the indication that we get in. The focus would actually be on people like Barbara Ashaisi, who is the deputy minister designate for education, also Antonia Beifa-Kabo, who is also deputy minister for roads, and the others who are members of the appointment committee and have also been appointed as deputy ministers, plus those as well who are going to the finance ministry. They are the ones who will be vetted before the House rising.
Okay, well, Gakpo, we'll end it here. We know that you bring us more and that we can put in a subsequent bulletin on that. Thank you very much. Joseph Opoku Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent, bringing us up to speed on the back of this story. Well, let's still stay with agriculture, or let's still stay with our forestry. Well, one of the key hurdles to investment in Ghana's agriculture sector is the inability of policymakers to identify reforms that would provide a conducive environment for the sector. The contribution of private sector investment in increasing agricultural yield cannot be downplayed. So one of the initiatives helping in that direction is the U.S. government's Global Hunger and Food Security Initiative called Feed the Future. Today, the mission director of USAID, Andy Karas, has been touting the achievement of his outfits in that regard.
In Ghana, where under the Feed the Future program, on an annual basis, USAID is supporting activity in the agricultural sector on average about $45 million each year. Our work in agriculture is particularly focused in the northern regions, where we're supporting value chain development in rice and maize and soya. We're working very much in alignment and coordination with development partners and, of course, the Ministry of Agriculture. We're very well briefed on the ministry's new plan and strategy, planting for food and jobs. Those are indeed critically important and shared objectives. We know that there are a set of pillars within that plan, and we certainly share the value placed on those pillars. One of them is improving seed quality. USAID is working significantly in this area together with the ministry, specifically with SARI, Research Institute, to improve seed varieties, to improve seed labs. We've established seed laboratories in Upper East and Upper West and the northern region to signify our very significant investment in the area of seed development. It all starts, as we know, with the seed. Secondly, another pillar under the ministry's plan is, of course, fertilizer, the all-critical input. Another area that USAID is supporting the ministry's priority work is in the area of fertilizer, particularly working with private sector input suppliers, working with other entrepreneurs. For example, an entrepreneur who I just met with recently in Kumasi, who's formulating organic fertilizer for sale. So again, a very important area. And of course, on the policy side, We're well aware of the fertilizer subsidy program. We have a very strong policy project that's working with the ministry to provide the data, the evidence-based data, so that policy determinations can best be made where it comes to input subsidy, where the private sector is working, and to be sure that we're creating that enabling environment.